pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome tonight to the May 12th Board of Trustees. We have a pretty heavy agenda tonight. So we always start out the monthly meeting, recognizing the Employee of the Month. And this month it's Mauricio Espinoza, and he's a custodial worker in the Building Maintenance Department. He was hired March 31st in 2015. He actually, one of the buildings he maintains for us is the Southampton Arts Center, and he's recognized by his peers as being a team player and always willing to step up and do a lot of different things for us. And on behalf of the board of the Southampton Arts Center, they want to thank him for the job that he's done and the way he's maintained that space. So, Mauricio, congratulations and thank you for all you're doing. We actually have two public hearings tonight, and you probably are here for both of them. So, but we have a public comment section beforehand. During the public hearings, you'll have opportunity. I think that, and so as we go through here, if you want to defer to the public hearing component instead of making public comment, that's fine. So we have a sign-up list of people who've signed up already. First, Evelyn Conrad.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the Board of Trustees. Evelyn Conrad, 18 South Roscoe Drive. I've passed out some papers for you, and I think everybody may be interested. But page 1 shows a picture of a historic house on Main Street that will get a demolition permit from the building department tomorrow. Page 2 shows the picture of what is planned for that site, a glass thing like Lair, if you know the Lair store. It's right on Main Street, on the corner with Job's Lane. The reason I have brought that to you is because you're the only ones who can act, because unfortunately, Mr. Robinson again violated state law and our village ordinance, which requires that decisions which the board, the ARB, is going to vote on, have to be in the building department file for that application 10 days before the vote. The reason is obvious. Procedures and laws are there to protect the citizens against oppressive government or dishonest government or any violation. The decision to abolish that building was put in the same day that the board voted. The entire ARB voted because they trust their lawyer. This turns out to be a bit of a mistake because there have been fraudulent decisions. I will mention only one because people may be familiar with that. It is the decision that 7 South Roscoe Drive in the Roscoe area, which has been renamed 28 Raymond Lane, was adjacent to but not part of the Roscoe development. That, of course, is absurd. It's a violation of the official maps that are with the Suffolk County clerk, and they are a violation of all our deeds. Of course, Rick DePetris knows that because he has the same deed. He also is in the Roscoe Place development. Now, I am here to mention that we will, of course, eventually, but I think sooner than you may think, hold Mr. Robinson responsible. That's Elbert W. Bo, you know him as, responsible for the varying twists of the law, violations of the law, and actual frauds that he has committed. And I just want to caution you, Mr. Mayor, that He is your agent. You might ask your attorney, and I don't mean Rick DePetris, I mean David Arnson in Smithtown, what respondeat superior means. It means that they're your agents. Your lawyers here are your agents, and you're responsible for how they act. So the first thing I would ask you to do is to stop the demolition of that historic building. Perhaps it should come down. I don't think so. But at least there is insufficient evidence in the file. The files are continuously being pilfered, and not by the visitors, I don't think. They've been sanitized.
Evelyn, 3 minutes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Gary, I know you want to speak about beaches, right? Public hearing? Well, do you want to speak? If you want to speak in the public hearing, just if I say your name, just say, they wave it off, okay? Well, we're not in the public hearing on the beach part, okay? So where we're at is we're at the board meeting right now. We're in the public comment section of the board meeting. And then we will, so everybody understands, we'll formally open up the public hearing regarding changes in Chapter 80 of the Village Code. And then and we will speak, and then we'll hear comments from the public and stuff. So actually, I'll just make it short. Anybody else who signed up here that wants to speak on another topic other than the public hearings? Okay, I made that simple. So, okay. So we're going to close the public comment section. We have no board presentations tonight. We have 2 public hearings on local law amending Chapter 80 with respect to vehicles on the beach. Rick?
A brief summary of this local law would be as follows. This relates to the portion of the Ocean Beach where vehicles are allowed between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. during the summer season. This local law would make 3 amendments to that section. The first 2 are relatively minor boundary changes. On one boundary change, right now it reads the westerly line of that area is currently described as on the west by the westerly boundary line of the village. At the time that was put in, there was apparently an error in the Suffolk County tax map, and the corrected map shows that the county park is partially in the village rather than entirely west of the boundary line. So to clarify that, one amendment would change the westerly line of this area to the easterly line of the county park. Then the second boundary change, right now the easterly line of that area is the easterly line of Road F. The village of Southampton owns 2 oceanfront parcels immediately east of Road F. And so this amendment would change the easterly line of this area to incorporate those 2 village-owned parcels into this allowed area. And then the third change that's being proposed in the local law is to limit the number of vehicles that can be parked in that area between those hours to 175 vehicles.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to open the public hearing on local law amending Chapter 80 of the Village Code with respect to vehicles on the Ocean Beach. Second.
Get a motion?
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, so we've had a summary of this. Actually, our attorney representing us in this, I asked him to put together a statement for us for me to read, to give a little bit of history on this. So I just wanted to briefly comment upon our amendment to Chapter 80 of the Village Code, which, as you know, concerns parking permits for a section of the Ocean Beach within the village. I'm sure that there are concerns held by some of you concerning this amendment. There are 2 lawsuits pending against the village in New York State Supreme Court challenging Chapter 80 of the code, which permits 4x4 and SUVs with a valid permit to park on that portion of the Ocean Beach bounded on the east by the easterly line of Road F, projected southerly to the water of the Atlantic Ocean, and on the west by the westerly boundary of the village between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. One lawsuit brought by a homeowner along that portion of the beach asked the court to declare this code provision unconstitutional and seeks an order from the court prohibiting the village from issuing any parking permits to anyone. The other lawsuit, brought by several homeowners along this portion of the beach, seeks monetary damages as a result of an alleged public nuisance existing on their property as a result of the parking permitted under the current law. The attorneys for these plaintiffs have shared photos of the condition they allege exist on their client's property during the days and times when parking is permitted on the beach. We have a few of them here today, and one of the attorneys is going to present them. We are prohibited, on the advice of counsel, to discuss in detail the pending lawsuits. I wish to point out, however, that our desire as a village board to amend the code is motivated not simply by the existing of lawsuits, though we must take the claims made seriously and are very aware that the outcome of any case is uncertain at best. Rather, our purpose has been to seek balance between the property rights of homeowners who live along that portion of the Ocean Beach and the long-held rights of village and town residents who enjoy access to this beach pursuant to an historic public easement. And I'm down there on the beach, so this is very important that I protect this, not only for you guys, but also for my family and my growing family, too. So, okay. Do we have any other comments from board members here? No? Okay. All right, so we're going to open up public comment. I would, what I'm going to ask during the public comment section is that you make your comments in reference to the code changes, and that understand that there are 2 lawsuits that are there, that we have a court reporter that's here recording this evening, and also it's on film, that there have been some bloggers on the internet who've made inappropriate comments that towards some of the plaintiffs in these cases, and I'd like to make sure that tonight when you come to speak in reference to the code changes, and please don't be cautious of the public hearing process, okay? So Gary Gillespie. Just when you come up, also identify yourself for the record and your address.
Gary Gillespie, Superintendent of Public Works, 22 Horton Terrace, Southampton, New York. I'm just here tonight to say that this is the last best thing Southampton residents has is this beach. And this is something that if it was ever taken away from us, you know, it would be a reason for a lot of people to not even be here anymore. It's very important to the people here. I look at the number of people on the beach and the increase in population every year, you know, so we all knew that one day we would have too many people down there. You know, I hoped it didn't come this soon, but now if we're looking at a number, I'm hearing the number of 175. I would ask the board to consider the number of 200. If we are going into a lawsuit and we are going to bargain, let's not bargain too low. I can tell my own family, and I know a lot of people I've talked to would volunteer to, instead of bringing 2 or 3 vehicles down per family, we would all pile into one and hopefully cull our numbers and be a little more responsible down there. So please consider to keep that number high for us so we can get as many people down there to still enjoy that beach. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Stephanie McNamara.
Hi, Stephanie McNamara, 231 Noyak Road, Southampton. I have a couple of comments just about the proposal itself. First of all, I'd like to thank you for expanding our area. by whatever means that is. I think that's helpful. One of the main problems that I have is that you are proposing to close off Gary Max Way, and I think it's unreasonable to have all vehicles going in and out by one exit the whole entire, for all of us. That's just too many vehicles going in and out. It's limiting people's access, and it's just going to create a worse nuisance down there than, or not, it isn't a nuisance down there, but it's going to create a traffic issue that's going to be a problem, I think, for everybody. I think in terms of these pictures, it's probably obvious that this might be like 4th of July weekend. It certainly isn't every single weekend. I agree with what Gary said, that those of us who have more than one family member coming down could certainly work together to try to limit that. I think what we need to really protect, as you well know, is that we're coming into probably at least 4 generations now of people who have come to use this as the picnic area as it's become known over the last 10 or 15 years. Prior to that, it was just an area that we all went to. And I agree that, we've got a few too many cars, but I think there's other ways to limit the numbers of cars as well. All of our permits say that it is for 4x4 access. It does not say SUV access. And I know that there's been a number of cars coming down there that are all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive does not belong on the beach. It's not four-wheel drive. So I think that you could cull the numbers a little bit by making sure that the people who are coming on the beach have four-wheel drive access. And then the other problem, I think, is we need to be looking at the fact that this has always been a local beach, and we have a lot of people coming down, I think, that have out-of-state plates, so I don't know what the process is exactly in terms of making sure that it's local residents and that they are 4x4 vehicles, but I would ask you to try to, look at that possibility as well in terms of culling the numbers down a bit. It's possible that, some of the out-of-state plates are coming from over on the county line. I don't really know, but I think those are 2 reasonable things that you could be looking at to make sure that when we're issuing permits that it is for four-wheel drive only vehicles, not all-wheel drive, and that it's for local Southampton residents that have Southampton as their home address on their registrations. Thank you.
Thanks, Steph. Nika?
Good evening. Nika Strunk. I'm an attorney at 37 Windmill Lane, Southampton, and I'm here tonight on behalf of my clients, Kathleen Ariskog-Thomas, who owns 2150 Meadow Lane, her husband Andrew Thomas, and her parents Rand and Jesse Ariskog, who also share that home with her. If you could please distribute that, that would be great. I have a letter that I wrote and a few enclosures. I'm not going to read the entire letter, but I'm going to basically give you the highlights. I know that there's been a lot of discussion about preserving access to the beach, and the code change that is proposed is not about beach access, and it's not even about beach driving. It's about the village determining that this is an appropriate place for a 175-car public parking lot. The ocean beaches are certainly one of the most environmentally sensitive areas of the village, and as far as I can tell from the local law as it's drafted, there is no traffic engineering, there is no planning, there is no environmental study to support the legislative choice to say that 175 cars is an appropriate number for this stretch of beach. I do represent...
What number do you think?
I'm not a traffic engineer and I'm not an environmental planner, but I think that the village owes it to its constituents and to the people it represents to do that analysis, to see what is safe, what level of beach driving is safe, what level of beach driving is worth the environmental impact of the beach driving. And when it does that study, which I hope it will, it should apply that rule to all of the private ocean beach owners in the village, because what you have now is a situation where the entire town of Southampton, if they have a 4x4 vehicle, it can get a permit. It was $20 last year. I don't know how much it's going to be this year, but these 9 homeowners are providing the beach driving needs of the or desires of the entire town of Southampton, from Eastport to Sag Harbor. So it's an extremely unfair situation. Obviously, that's one of the claims that we have in our lawsuit. And just in terms of a background on the lawsuit, for years, the position was that the town trustees controlled this area, the trustees of the freeholders and commonalty of the town of Southampton. And there was a notion that that the trustees had an easement that gave them total control over ocean beaches, and no one could question that, and they had absolute full power. And that, as we know from a recent case in Quogue that I was involved in, is no longer the case. And really, to be quite honest, it was a fiction from day one. So now there's no question that the village is in full control, and the village, it's within its territorial boundaries. The village has the power, the legislative power, to regulate this beach. But it has to do that in accordance with the Constitution, and it has to do that in accordance with New York State law. And to be a responsible municipality, I think that the village does have to consider carefully all of the consequences of its determination that 175 cars belong on this beach. This is a 175 car parking lot. And you have to consider its impact on not only the property rights of the homeowners, which obviously I'm very concerned about, but also traffic and public safety and on the environment. And I don't think there's been even the beginning of any consideration of those issues. Now, I say that this is privately owned property, at least, I'm speaking on behalf of my clients, and I understand that there may be people who think that the beach is or should be public property, but these are the facts. My clients' deeds give them title to the high water mark of the Atlantic Ocean. They are taxed on all of their land to the high water mark of the Atlantic Ocean. They pay taxes on the beach that looks like that, with that level of cars on it. Their beach is a parking lot. They're paying taxes on a public parking lot. And in fact, this year their assessment is being raised by 30%. In fact, their taxes are one of the highest of any oceanfront property in the village. From Gin Lane to Meadow Lane, they are higher than most. So it's extremely unfair. Now, I also want to explain that since 1926, I'm going to answer to the mayor only, thanks.
Not a public hearing.
This area has been planned for residential development for a very long time. There was a subdivision map filed in 1926. In 1984, the village's planning board approved another re-subdivision of the portion of land where my client's property is situated, and that was a subdivision map. I've enclosed a copy of it. The village's subdivision rules have always stated that any restrictions on the use of land, including easements, covenants, or zoning district lines, have to be put on the subdivision map. There's no easement on this subdivision map. The village planning board approved it without any notation of any public parking rights, any picnic area, or anything like that. So it seems to me that if a person was buying a subdivision lot, they would have a right to rely on that. If the village wanted to provide a place for everyone in the town to park their vehicles on the beach, then frankly, it should have acquired land specifically for that purpose. It's really not right to have a public parking lot on privately owned property. The Suffolk County Park is a good example of publicly owned land where parking is allowed. There's no homes there. That works. This situation on privately owned, privately taxed land does not work. And I do want to make clear, because my clients are very civic-minded, very good people. The last thing that they want to do is to deprive anyone of access to the beach. That's like it's commandeering the issue and taking it to a place that it doesn't belong, because the fact is that everyone in the town and village of Southampton has access to the beach. However, in every other beach, they access it on foot, and they come with their towels and their coolers and their surfboards and umbrellas, and they can do that on this beach as well. There's no objection to that. but there is a very, very serious objection to an all-day parking lot on their land. I want to just tell you a little bit about my clients' experience as owners of this property. They purchased their property in 2004 in October. They had been residents of the village of Southampton for many, many years. They were very familiar with the beaches in Southampton, and they knew Cooper's Beach. They knew, Cooper's Beach is certainly one of the finest beaches in the United States. And they were familiar with Cooper's and Halsey and Little Plains and Dune Beach, which are all beautiful, safe, clean, friendly beaches. They were completely unprepared for what they found when they spent their first summer on the beach, which was 2005.
Please, okay?
Okay.
Thanks.
It was bad that summer, and it's gotten worse every single summer. Last year, I believe the village issued 2,500 stickers, which is just a phenomenal number. These photos here, we've counted 250. This was Labor Day weekend. So if you're proposing reducing that number to 175, it's a very small reduction. It's still going to be extremely overcrowded. So another serious issue that has been a problem for my clients is alcohol. There's really quite extensive alcohol abuse on this beach. And in the town of Southampton, if you want to have alcohol on the beach, you have to get a permit from the town board, you have to provide an insurance policy, you have to indemnify the town. At Cooper's Beach, there is no alcohol allowed, and Cooper's Beach is really the gold standard of what a beach should be. I think this beach should strive to be like Cooper's Beach. So now, on this beach, there's only a very vague prohibition against intoxication, which I think is really certainly something that we would like the board to address, because the public intoxication levels are very high, and the village has not done any sobriety checks, as far as I know. And I think it's a very, very dangerous situation when you have people drinking during the day in the hot sun in the summer, and then driving trucks on soft sand. It is literally an accident waiting to happen. There's certainly no respect for my clients' property rights. Some beachgoers are using their dunes as a toilet, and I don't think anyone would be happy if that was going on. Any of the members of this board, I don't think, would enjoy it if that was going on their property that they were taxed on. So my clients have certainly tried for a very long time to work this out with the village. They did not join the first lawsuit that was brought. They worked closely and had meeting after meeting with the trustees and the village mayor. And every year they were told that the situation was going to get better, and every year it got worse. So suing is certainly something that they never wanted to do, but they had no choice. The real turning point for them was when last summer one of my clients was harassed and threatened and cursed at on the beach in front of his 5-year-old son by a group of beachgoers who were visibly intoxicated and belligerent. And that just should not happen. This is the village of Southampton. This is not a place of lawlessness and danger and disorder. This is really one of the finest villages in the United States, and it's a great place because there is a place for everyone. And not just the people who own very expensive properties, but also for the working people of the village and the town. And the beach is a place where everyone should be welcome. And frankly, I think a lot of people understand that you do not need a truck to enjoy the beach. People all over the village and town and all over the world enjoy the beach without a truck on the beach with them. And frankly, when you create a situation like this that literally blocks the access of homeowners, it's not an inviting, it's not a welcoming environment, it's a very exclusive environment. So I know I have pleadings in the court about our legal claims. I believe that this is a per se taking. It's a physical invasion of my client's property. It's also a denial of equal protection because there's absolutely no basis to say that these 9 homeowners deserve a different standard of property rights than every other private homeowner in the village of Southampton. Now, the next point I want to make is under SECRA, the State Environmental Quality Review Act. I don't think that there's been any review done, as far as I can tell, in accordance with SECRA. And I do appreciate that the village is trying to make things better, but frankly, it's going about it the wrong way because it's determining that 175 cars is an appropriate number. And it's doing that without any traffic studies. There's no understanding of how these vehicles are going to operate, where they're going to, are they going to be seaward of the rack line as they are required to be under the village's own code. Even when you're enacting legislation to try to make a condition better, you still have to follow the requirements of SECRA. And the first step is to make a classification. This is a type 1 action. I have the reasons and the codes sections quoted in my papers. There's not been a determination of what, there's not been a classification of this action, there's not been an environmental assessment form, there's not been a determination of lead agency, and there's been absolutely no consideration of what will the impact be on beach erosion. Aram Tertunian is going to address that a little bit later. Endangered species. There are piping plovers on this beach. I believe there are piping plovers now on this beach. And that needs to be considered very, very seriously. That is something that is called a take under the Endangered Species Act and under New York state law. So SECRA also requires you to take a look at reasonable alternatives. And in this case, certainly one of the reasonable alternatives would include a no beach driving or parking no beach parking alternative, meaning make this section of the beach equal to every other section of the beach in the village and the town. That's certainly an alternative that has to be considered and compared to the legislative choice of putting 175 vehicles in this space. I also think that, I think that bathrooms are a good idea because these people need, people need somewhere to go, obviously, but once you have bathrooms and you have an expanded parking lot, you are operating a bathing beach. And you need to follow the Suffolk County Health Department requirements. And I don't think there's been any consideration of that as far as I can tell. So,
Thank you.
In conclusion, my clients are decent, community-minded homeowners. They've been in this village for 29 years. They have been very involved on behalf of the community. They have great love and respect for this village and the surrounding community. They did not want to enter into a lawsuit, but after 10 years of being rebuffed and ignored by the town and village officials, they really had no choice. I think that this is a problem that the community needs to come together to solve, and the first step has to be a study of what is environmentally appropriate, safe, and good for the beach, period. Okay, thank you.
Hey, Nika,
Okay.
Mike wanted to ask you a question.
I just, to clarify the gray area of legal writings, you refer to the 175 number as a minor change. Are you looking for no vehicles on the beach, or are you willing, if an environmental statement has been reviewed and set forth, accept vehicles on the beach? Or are you just looking for none at all?
I will tell you, we are looking for none at all. However, if the village were to engage in a truly comprehensive and full study of what is reasonable and appropriate and safe on the beach, and if it were to apply it to the entire village of Southampton, to all property owners, then my clients would be satisfied because they would have the equal protection of the laws which they're entitled to.
Okay.
Anything else?
We are underway with the EIS. And,
Okay.
All that. We haven't completed all of that, and so we're not going to close the public hearing tonight. Part of that process is also getting feedback at a public hearing.
Okay, so you're preparing, and have you made a determination of significance?
No,
I haven't
that's
seen it yet, so.
That's what we will do after we complete the environmental assessment.
Okay. All right. So is there any understanding of the time frame involved with this legislation? And what's going to happen on May 15th?
Well, it's the day before my anniversary. That's. We'll have a public hearing. We'll see how the public hearing goes tonight. And.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. John Wopes. You pass it. Oh, pass. Okay. Oh, I didn't see it. So, thanks. Carol Wopes. Oh, thanks. Susan? Baradian there? No. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. You signed an attendance sheet, but you signed to speak, but okay. So, Sean Harrington? Okay. Sandy Enstein? Peter? Jeanette? Jabo? Well, wait, no. Robert? No. Okay. All right, David Rayner? All right, there we go.
Okay, board, thank you for having us. My name is David Rayner, 49 Breeze Lane. Just listening to this woman here, a couple points on that. She touched on environment. I'll give you a quick history. I graduated in '78, and down there wasn't many houses at all. And there's one particular, every graduation classes, all the graduation classes would held a right of end of graduation party on the beach. And there was a unique dune that must have been 30 feet tall, and it hollowed out and it was called the Bowl. And the Bowl is where we went and had our graduation party, as we did every year for all the classes, and we clean up, and that was the end of it. Well, as you all know, there's a swimming pool there right now. There's a deck, there's houses. So as far as the environment is concerned, Mayor and everybody, understand that there's a lot of construction down there, and there's a lot of environment. She also mentioned wildlife. Where's the owls? Where's the foxes? Where's the pheasants? The only friend they have down there is the deer. And so that concerns me about the environment. All these big construction houses are going up and these McMansions. So with that said, I can't see us hurting the environment on the beach. As we all know, we clean up and leave the beach cleaner than we found it. Secondly, she mentioned the high water mark. Could she point out where that mark is?
That's a difficult spot.
You can't find a high water mark here on this post? Well, I'm sure it's not where we are. As a matter of fact, we know that. So I don't have to be an expert for that. So anyway, in closing and just thoughts, it's touching on a big thing, but the environment is not I think there's more harm with the construction than there is with us. That's one thing. And secondly, I'm just afraid that, you start somewhere limiting things, it's just going to get worse. So that's why we're all here, because we just want to put the reins on best we can. And I brought my own props. This is a picture of a young man. I don't know who it might be, but this young man is having the time of his life, the day of his life. You know what he's doing? He's barbecuing on the beach. And I think that smile on his face tells everything. Okay? And I just can't lose that. I know there's a lot to be said tonight, and I appreciate your time, but it's, how we all are concerned. And I just want to be careful about the environment and these houses and everybody's complaints. But I think we're doing fine, and we're policing ourselves, and I hope we can keep it going. Thank you.
All right, thanks, David. Nancy Silverman.
Good evening. Nancy Silverman. I'm an attorney from Essex, Hefter and Angel, 108 East Main Street, Riverhead, New York. I am One of the attorneys who represents the other group of homeowners who started an action about 10 years ago now, Nika Strunk, is here tonight, and we heard from her, and I'm not going to repeat everything she said, although my clients, Todd and Harriet Johnson, and the other homeowners who were parties to that action, agree with much of what Ms. Strunk said tonight. Our concern about the new law that is being proposed is, contrary to what many people here think tonight, is that it doesn't go far enough. We think, like Nika Strunk explained, that 175 is still a very large number on a very small area. I mean, we're talking about 2,000 feet, and 175 cars in that amount of space is, we think, just too much. We're also concerned about the lack of environmental study, and I was glad to hear you say that that is going to be undertaken. I do want to address one of the points that was just made about there not being much nature left because of the construction. One of my clients, Todd Johnson, described to me in great detail about how there is a fox who lives right by his property. There are foxes there still. There are piping plovers. And I would like to point out that the town trustees themselves have done studies which indicate that one of the greatest dangers to the piping plover population, and in this area of the beach as well, is from driving on the beach and parking on the beach, and that poses a large danger. So this is not just my client saying this. These are in actual studies that have been done by the town trustees. And obviously, we are also still concerned, as was described previously, that our clients are being treated differently than every other property owner along the village beaches in Southampton. There's no reason why they should be subject to a use that nobody else is being subject to. That obviously is an issue in the lawsuit that's been going on for 10 years. But in the 10 years since this lawsuit began, the number of cars that have been using this beach has gone up every year. So the problem is getting worse, and although I understand that this is an attempt to address everybody's concerns, we don't believe it does that. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Nancy. Jim McLaughlin. You're moving just fine there, Jim. Good to see you move.
My name is Jim McLaughlin, and my office and property is on Hill Street, 789 Hill Street in the Village. And I would just like to comment, the attorney who just mentioned 2,000 feet of frontage on the ocean is incorrect. Actually, with the area that you propose opening up in the addition to the west end of your village border and that portion which is east of Road F, it's some 2,553 feet that would be available in frontage. A lot of this information is somewhat surprising. I think when those people purchased that property down between roads F and G, Bill Hattrick will recall that the ordinance was already a matter of public record. And Ray Charles could see that there was parking available in that part of the world. The other thing that occurs to me is that in my experience down there are people who wind up on the beach who do not have the proper permits to be there. And I would encourage the village to consider a very strict enforcement program that would not allow anybody to get a warning, but they would get a $250 ticket if they were found there during those hours of the day when they had to have a permit to be there. No questions asked. If you're found on the beach, whether your uncle or aunt has invited you down with your Vermont vehicle, you're going to have a problem, and it's going to cost a lot of money. And I would encourage the village and the trustees, however you can work it out, to really enforce the need for a permit. Another thing that I wonder about is whether or not you could encourage and require that there be too deep parking rather than one along all of the frontage there, if there'd be one behind the other. I think that would kind of cut down on the congestion. The other thing to consider, or the thing that I wonder about, I know in the municipal parking lots that the code requires that there be 10 feet allocated for a parking space, 10 feet in width. If that's true, and there's 2,500 feet of frontage, 175 cars is not a burden to the amount of space that's available there. Another thing that you might consider is, I know for myself and my family that we would be willing to pay some tribute for the privilege of going to that, wonderful part of the world that we so much enjoy. And if there was some additional fee that the village would charge to have a self-liquidating program where you could hire people for 10 or 13 days in the summer season, and that's what you're talking about here. This is not like an everyday 90 or 120-day event. This is 13 days in the summer season. Often there are weather situations that would cut it back to fewer than 13 days. And it's generally on Sundays because most of the people who go there work very hard during the summer season, and the only day that they have to enjoy with their families is that Sunday afternoon in the picnic area. Finally, we are here. I hope that you don't misconstrue our presence to be supporting more constraints on that part of the world. I know and I recognize that there are lawsuits and so forth, but our presence here, we are not advocating more control as far as reducing numbers. And I would encourage you to allow this meeting to be held open for another public hearing, because I know that there's an environmentalist, or Mr. Turchanian is going to make a presentation. We are not prepared to discuss any recommendations or comments that he may make. So I would encourage you to please hold this open for another go-round. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Jim Williams. Jim Williams.
Good evening, Jim Williams, 100 Big Fresh Pond Road, Southampton. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Jim, you've pretty much hit just about every point that I wanted to bring up. Well done. You got it. You've also Ms. Sistrunk, I'm not sure if you're aware of the term due diligence, or is your client aware of that term due diligence when they purchase
Actually,
a home?
if you'll, Jim, if you'll direct
you
your
can speak
comments
up.
to this board, please. Thanks.
Okay, the village code was codified, 1982, that made that a four-wheel drive 24/7 beach. The homeowners that purchased their homes after that time should have been well aware that historically that's been the usage of that beach. Also, the plaintiff, the Araskogs, four-wheel drive on that beach themselves. They bring down private surf instructors, that four-wheel drive back and forth, caravan people up and down the beach. They themselves are contributing to the alleged nuisance on the beach. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you.
Phil Gay.
Phil Gay, Watermill, owner of East End Clam Bakes. I think when I was probably about 4 or 5 years old, started going to beach parties down the beach, and overnighters and things like that with the family and cousins and aunts and uncles. And it was a wonderful thing we used to do down there. And when I got to be 16, I got my driver's license, and the inlet was a place we used to go and have fun down there. And you know, my family, my ancestors have been here since supposedly, you know, the 1600s when it was founded. And I was thinking what kind of laughter is going on with this meeting about what's happened and what we're talking about right now. They must be all shaking their heads about this because, you know, I look at this place as a jewel. This place out here has been, you know, a beautiful wonderment for people, and that's why they come here. The unfortunate thing is, the more people that keep coming out here, we're losing the shine in that jewel. And they want to make things their way. And unfortunately, you know, for 40-something or 50 years, I've been going down on the beach or more and driving down on the beach and picnicking and, you know, the parties down at the bowl. And there's a lot of history of things that go on. And, you know, like any person in this room, we work like crazy to live here. It's expensive to live here. And the only day I really have to get away is Sunday. I work 6 days a week and part of Sunday morning. And it's a relaxing place for me. And you know, years ago I had a dog, little puppy, used to bring it down to the beach. It was 10 years ago because she's 10 years old. And these two little kids used to come over and they used to ask me if they could play with Ginger. And you know, every summer, these two little kids would come up and play with my dog down there. And they'd swim in the ocean with the dog. And we'd talk about stuff. I don't have any kids, so it was kind of neat. And every year, for years, until they grew up and they didn't care about Ginger anymore, but it's family that goes on down there. It's relaxation. If there's people that are doing the wrong thing, then those people need to be arrested, I don't know, given a ticket. I don't know what they're doing wrong down there. But if they are, why should the rest of us sacrifice for a few? You know, there's people that drive down the road, right? And I'm sure these, like this woman's talking about, you know, the traffic checks, you know, for, I mean, you know, these people live down there. They go back to their homes. Maybe there should be traffic checks for them. Who knows? You know, but I'm just saying that the stuff that goes on down there is family. I see people that I don't see all year long, and I stop and say hello sometimes. Some days I work so much, I don't want to see anybody, and I take my dog and go for a walk somewhere. That's what I do a lot, because I talk to people all week long. When we go down and do a party in the town of Southampton or the village of Southampton and cater an event down there, we pick up garbage. We pick up garbage on the beach and clean it up before the people come there. Do you know I've been down to that picnic area for years, I mean decades. That place is the cleanest beach of any beach on the whole East End. It is. And you know, the reason why it's clean is because we're all local people that go down there. And we respect that place, that jewel. We respect it because it's our last place that we can go and have a good time. I can't go to Flying Point and go to the beach on Sunday. It's noon. There's not a parking space. I can't go to the village and park there. I can't go to Bridgehampton. I can't go anywhere except go up there. Ginger and I get in a truck on Sunday and we go to the beach. You know, that's what we do. And, you know, my brother's kids, we go down on a Sunday night sometimes, and maybe we get there at 5 o'clock. We have a little picnic. We make a bonfire. We sit there. We cook a couple of pieces of fish or burgers or whatever we're going to do. And we sit by the fire. It gets dark, and we talk about the old days. We talk about fishing. We talk about the old picnics. We talk about family. And these kids love that. These kids love that. And that's what that place is about down there. It's not about, if there's somebody that's doing something wrong, then those people, it's just like anybody, if somebody's doing wrong somewhere, he should be talked to, whatever needs to be done. But the majority of the people, I don't go down there and get carried away and drink. I don't drink anymore. But the bottom line is, that place down there is much more behaved than it used to be in the 70s, I can tell you that. Maybe because I was drinking in 70, but you know, the bottom line is, the people that live down on that beach, when they bought that house down there, and there's nobody probably, or very few of them, that have owned a house down there for 50 years. I can tell you that. There's very few. Those places flip one after another. One guy buys it, another guy buys it the next year, whatever it is. But these people, majority of them, have been down there for probably 30 or 40 years, you know? And when they bought their house, they should have really done some research. You know, that's my feeling about it. And to talk about the amount of cars, I was trying to count them, and you can't. I don't think 175, I think 250 is a reasonable number, and spread it out. I think it should be spread out. And the village doesn't have anything to do with some other beaches, but maybe the town trustees can open a beach down by Fowler's and take some of the draw, you know, away from that area. Maybe on the west side of Shinnecock Inlet, where there's no houses down there, maybe there could be a draw for the people that come from up west. You know, maybe it needs to be enforced a little bit more. I've seen people down there without permits on their trucks. There's a lot of different things that could be done differently. You know, that place is about the hard-working people in this town that need a place to go and relax, to talk about whatever they want to talk about, cook whatever they want to cook on the grill, go swimming, watch their kids grow up, walk their dog. It's all about that. Thanks.
Ronald? I can't read the last name here.
He's coming. Yeah, I think so.
No, that's Bill. You're not running off, are you?
Where are you going, Bill? I'm going to the beach to walk my dog.
Yeah. The only town trustee that shows up here. Okay.
Thanks, Bill.
Ronald? Okay. Franny?
Fran Adamczewski, 40 West Prospect Street, Southampton Village. Born and raised here. My whole life. Been to this beach. I was probably born on that beach. Who knows? But to come to say, you know, respect to Kathy. She surfs. I surf. We hang out together. She parked right next to me. She brought the surf school down there. Surf school. There was like 30 kids she brought down there. What's to say how many vehicles they're bringing down? Commercial use of the beach. I try to stop that. No commercial. None. Don't like it. But she brings them down. She can get her surf lessons. I don't care, on her property. Let her do her thing. Have a good time like everybody else wants to have a good time. Mr. Johnson, became good friends with him. Good man. Walked our dog together. He's like, Fran, I wish there was a lot more people like you. I go there during the winter, February. It's freezing, 5 degrees. I'm out there walking my dog, picking up balloons and garbage. Todd's like, wow, you're great. That's awesome. I can't believe you do this. He's like, I do it every day, Todd. He goes, yep, I know. I see you down here. Because he comes out, walks his dog. And, you know, she parks her vehicle on the beach, too. I haven't heard of any accidents of anybody getting run over or hurt down at the beach at all. I mean, yes, it looks a little congested, but it looks pretty damn orderly to me. I mean, I don't see anybody, you know, going crazy, doing donuts in the dunes or anything like that. And a couple weeks ago, 5 of us went down there And we walked the whole beach from Road Gary Max Way all the way to the inlet. Picked up balloons, garbage, wood, Lisa Harry, Donna Bennett. We cleaned the whole beach. Cleaned it, spotless. Spotless. Went up into the dunes, actually. I thought we were going to get yelled at, but we were picking up balloons and plastic bags and construction debris that was blowing off these houses that are being made down there. Talking about environment, what are these houses putting into the water, into our bays? Leaching into all the... There's no grass. There's no grass. You don't see any grass, any lawns growing here, do you? They're over by your houses, by their houses. That's the environmental impact on the dunes. There's no grasses. There's no lawns growing on the beach. Where do you ever see a lawn, some guy mowing the lawn out on the dune? You know? You're putting chemicals down. That's sand. That stuff goes through like a filter, like a coffee filter. It leaches into the water, into the bays. That's why all the bays are dying. They're getting polluted. There's red tide, brown tide, all this crap's coming along because of the chemicals. All these houses, all these new houses down that road, leaching all chemicals into them. There's no environmental impact from trucks down there, unless you're leaking oil, but most of them are brand new trucks that are down there, and they're clean. I mean, pretty much, I don't know what to say after that, but this is our heart. This is my home. My home. People say, you should put a mailbox up end of the road at Gary Max Way, because I'm there so much, because I love this place. I grew up there. If I lose this spot, I'm going to leave this town. I'll leave this village. It's disgusting. That's why everybody that grows up here just leaves, because they're tired of this. There's just, you know, it's like, where's all the locals go? They move, because you know why? We get pushed out of here by people that have money. Money. If I had money too, I'd fight you guys. I'd fight you. I'd go put every penny I had to stay on that beach. I love that beach. She loves that beach. I love that beach. I love that beach more than she does. So, you know, she asked me to share the sandbar with her. I shared the sandbar with her. I shared the waves with her. I'm not getting pushed into the waves. She is. But it's you got to share with us. You got to share. She's got to share. I mean, this is the only place that we can. We've been doing this for years. I'm 55. I'm going to be 55 this summer. I've been going to this beach since I could ever remember. Going down the road was dirt road, and there was no houses on that road. I mean, if none of these people knew that we were there, hello. And there's no environmental impact on any wildlife, I could say. I mean, the foxes up in the dunes, they're probably eating piping plovers. They got to eat something. I mean, you got feral cats that are
Franny,
going up there too. I mean,
hey, Fran, just make your comments to the board.
I'm sorry. You know, my heart's into this.
I know. We know.
I can't even go to the beach without sitting down there without somebody coming up to me and go, Fran, something's... I should be mayor.
I know that. Okay,
I
election next year there, Franny.
No, I'm not running. Don't worry. You might see a sticker or two out there, but I'm not running. But this is our home. We grew up here. We live here. I mean, God's sakes, if she got enough money, move somewhere else. I mean, I don't want her to move anywhere else. We were here. This is our home. This is our heart. This is, you know, we used to be able to drive from Road D all the way to here, and then all of a sudden we're just getting smushed and smushed and smushed. We just want to have fun, enjoy our weekend. That's it. One Sunday. This is like one of the Labor Day weekend. Go there, take a picture of it on a Monday or a Tuesday during the week. Yeah. See how many cars are down there. Four?
Franny.
I'm sorry. All right, I better. Thanks. That's it. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. I just want to.
Okay, so that's everybody who's signed up. I know, Aram, you wanted to come and speak.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. My name is Aram Tertunian, First Coastal Corporation, West Hampton Beach, New York. Apparently, I signed up for the attendance sheet as well, so.
Okay.
Stand here. Stand here.
I have some prepared comments which I passed out to the board, but just briefly, I'd like to go over some of my observations. Just for reference, I'm a coastal geologist with 40 years experience on the east end of Long Island, specifically in Southampton. I've studied the beaches and dunes in this area. I've written papers and in peer-reviewed journals, and we are actively involved in restoration of the beaches and dunes throughout Southampton Village and Southampton Town. Most recently, we were the directors of the 6-mile beach restoration project in Watermill, Bridgehampton, and Sagaponack, which was paid for 95% by the people who live on the beach. I've been asked to prepare an evaluation of your proposed local law from a coastal geology and dune and beach protection point of view. And I have some, my observations are that there are some serious deficiencies in what's being proposed right now in light of federal, state, and even village ordinances regarding the protections of dunes. You know, very simply, we're all well aware that driving vehicles through the dunes causes erosion. The vegetation is trampled, the wind blows the bare sand, blowouts are created in the dunes. There's a diminution in the size of the dune, the height of the dune, the width of the dune, the volume of the dune. And it is specifically the ordinances that are passed by the village and the state and the federal government that are designed to prevent that. Unfortunately, if you go down to the vehicle crossings in this area, you will see that the dune has been degraded 5, 10, 8, 15 feet lower in a lot of areas because of the constant vehicle traffic. So you have a proposed ordinance where you have a 175-car limit, but you're talking about thousands of transits in any given week, and the dune itself has already been significantly diminished by this traffic, and there's no discussion, analysis of that very significant problem. And you know, floodwaters come through the lowest part of the dune. Water seeks the lowest level, and these dune crossings are basically conduits for floodwaters. And allowing continued vehicle traffic through there to continue to diminish them is in contravention of federal, state, and local ordinance. The other issue really has to do with the beach itself and what happens on the beach. And you know, I have to say, I am a beach driver. I have driven on every beach in the town of Southampton, the village of Southampton, East Hampton, you name it. So this is a privilege that I treasure. And that privilege is also a privilege I respect. But the manner in which you drive on a beach, the intensity of use on the beach, and the level of control exercised on vehicle use on a beach is critical to whether or not those vehicles are going to have a significant environmental impact. And I took these photographs. I didn't take these photographs. These photographs were supplied to me by Ms. Strunk, and I'll show you just one. Right here in this photo, you know, it doesn't look like much on the photo, but the vertical elevation between the vehicle roadway and the top of the dune is 12 feet here. Well, that's 12 feet of loss of flood protection. Also, if you look, the wheel marks go all over the beach and right up to the seaward toe of the dune. Well, dunes can't function and expand if the rhizomes that are being shot out by the beach grass are being run over by trucks. So that is, in fact, why the village has an ordinance that says all vehicles have to operate below the debris line. And you'll see in these photos that every single vehicle on here is above the debris line. So, you know, there is an issue here, not just with the dunes, but with the debris, the wrack itself. The wrack itself is a food source for all different types of animals on the beach, including threatened and endangered species. I bring these points up because if the village is going to undertake a true objective environmental analysis of what in essence is a 175-car parking lot, these are issues which need to go into your full EAF and into your scoping document so that they can be hashed out and dealt with and the ordinance as we see today doesn't discuss them at all. I want to thank you very much for your time this evening. I understand that you have a difficult job, and as a citizen of the town, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Evan Gay.
My name's Evan Gay. I'm Phil Gay's younger brother. You know, my dad used to take us down there from Road D. Road D was the last of the paved roads. It was dirt. We used to go there in the wintertime and go clamming. My cousin Michael's dad used to be with us. You know, our uncles, everybody was clamming in February and March after the winter would go past, and we used that access. It was a dirt road full of holes, and if you didn't have a Jeep, you weren't getting down there, you know. I was probably 4 years old and fell through the ice down there, I remember, and I remember going home with him in this Willys station wagon, and our whole family was packed in there. That was 1964. My daughters are 14 and 16. I taught them how to surf at that beach right across from where I fell through the ice. And believe me, I've seen the houses. I'm a mason contractor, and I see more pollution impact from the structures they're building down there. They're not building them out of pilings anymore like they used to drive pilings in. They're driving pilings and pouring concrete into them now. And, you know, I don't know, it seems like the houses are getting taller and taller. I also was married, of course, and I'm divorced now, but my wife owned a place in Fort Lauderdale, all right? And we lived in a 34th-story building in Fort Lauderdale. I used to call this place Queens on the Ocean, and I could not stand it down there, and I just still don't like it. It reminds me of what's coming. Fort Lauderdale is coming. And if you don't stop the construction craziness out here, this whole place, you know what? All those $1 million homes, they're not going to be worth shit because they'll even sell them. They won't want to be there. It's their impending doom. This place is going downhill fast because everybody is just, it's insane. Every time I go down there, there's something huge. The huge houses. It's like, how many people live in these things? Excuse my language. You know? But honest to God, that's their business. They want to have a huge house, let them have it. But you know what? We need to share. And you know what? The bottom line is, I was born here, raised here, just like Franny. I went to school with Fran. And you know what? That's where I take my daughters to the beach. And we're not down there doing anything illegal. We're doing some surfing. I taught my daughters how to swim there. We're not millionaires. I didn't teach them in a swimming pool. I taught them right there in the beach. Am I willing to give that up? No. And you know what? If we get kicked off of there, really, I would definitely sell my house and move because it's like the only thing that you can go for shelter in the summer here because of the mayhem that's out everywhere else. I feel the pressure just coming from Noyak, where I live, on the bay, okay? But my kids want to surf. Okay, I live right steps from Peconic, but I drive through Tuckahoe, the back way around the village to avoid the hassle. And it still takes me 45 minutes to get to the beach from Bayview Oaks. You know, it takes 12 minutes in the wintertime without speeding. Okay? There's something wrong with that. That says it right there. And you know what? When I get down there, my blood pressure goes down considerable. Because I'm like, wow, I get to back up. My brother's there with his dog. My friend that works for me is there with his mom. And you know what? He's 19, and he since he was 10, I've been bringing him down there. I taught him how to surf cast there. You know, this is what we do, and it is about family. It's about In the wintertime, God, I can't wait. I talked to my daughters on the phone. Olivia said, you know, I can't wait to get up there and just go to the beach. I want to walk on the beach and just put a surfboard in the water and not even do anything, just float, you know, and have a lobster salad sandwich and chill out, you know. She likes lobster salad. We go to my brother's store and he fixes them up once every Sunday.
All right. Thanks, Evan.
Anyway, that's what I feel about the beach.
Actually, if you haven't signed up, and if you guys want to just make a line over here by the podium, and thanks.
Jeremy Rand, 14 Anchor, Flanders, New York.
Just actually state your name and address because, for the...
Jeremy Rand, 14 Anchor Street, Flanders, New York. I know everybody's here, and we're all talking about what we did down there and how we've, you know, that's our place, and we all know how much it means to us. But there's got to be a solution. I mean, I understand where these people are coming from. This is their property. We all know that, and whether they knew or not what was going on down there, that's irrelevant. We do know this. That land used to be ours, slowly was taken away. We lost the inlet. We lost a majority of that Road D down there. And it seems we lost it to money. And that was the answer to it, was we needed money, let's sell the land. And that kind of took us, that took that beach away from us. And now we're sitting here, we're in this predicament, we're fighting over it. We're fighting over the use of it, and it's ridiculous. You know, we go down there on Sunday, it's one day a week. It's not Saturdays, it's Sunday. That's the only day that these people get to go down there. And I'd like to point out, too, if there's what they said about the environmental impact. What about the environmental impact of all these homes that are going up? I mean, how many cesspools, how many chemicals, how many, you know, how many things are going into our environment with the allowance of these houses? They're right, they're huge, they're big, and they're getting closer and closer to the water. And what about the COs that you guys give these people? Are they following their COs? Are they, as soon as they get the CO, are they changing it? Are they putting their third roof decks on there? Are they putting their land where they're not supposed to be? I mean, are we just going to let them keep picking at us? Are we ever going to stand up and fight back to them and say, look, you know, you can come here, but you better play by our rules? And another thing, I tell you what, if you limit us with this beach access, that's fine, but limit them to their parties when they want to have their special parking permits and when they want to do their special little parties down there and their fireworks show and their tents and their lights and their big parties. Stand up to them and say, no, you want to fight us? Let's fight right back. I mean, it seems like they got the ball in their court and they're just holding court and we're back and forth. It's time to stand up to them. And it's time to get the town involved too, and the trustees, because there's no way you guys can just do it. I know how hard you guys work and to dedicate your lives to it, but we dedicate our lives to this town. So we need the town, we need the village, we need everybody. Because if you guys open up the west side, the Hampton Bay side, I live in Flanders, I'll gladly go down there to relieve the pressure. Open up North Sea Beach, open up the bays, open it up a little bit, just so that we could have some relief. I know there's some local people that will not just go to the beach for the inlet. They'll go down to North Sea Beach, and they'll go down there with their boats, and they'll park down there, and it relieves some of the pressure. And start giving the residents that are here year-round residents first priority and first permits to that beach. Not the residents that come here for 6 months, for a month, for 4 weeks. And the people are right. We have to start policing each other. We have to start being better neighbors. We have to see if we see something down there and people don't have a permit, I'm sorry, but you know, we're in a fight down there. They're trying to take our beach. You think they're going to be happy with that 175? They're going to come back next year, it's going to be 100. Then it's going to be 50. Then it's going to be 20. And it's not going to stop. I understand. Listen, if this was my house, I got to think of it. I always try to think of things on the other side, even though it's very difficult to do. I think if I had somebody come to my house and set up a tent and party and hang out, I wouldn't be happy about it either. I wouldn't be. I could. It's tough to say that, but we have to look at that because a lot of us have properties in this town and we take a lot of pride in them. And for somebody to come into our land and start doing stuff like that, I got you. I'd be pissed too. But there's a way that we could all work together. You know, we could spread out a little bit more. Maybe we can move a little bit. Every year, maybe it's just not those 9 homes. Let's move down 9 more homes and give the homes that are there relief. Can we move down to the left for a couple years? Give the people that are there a little freedom from this. I understand it's a lot. We're 3 deep, but it's only on Sundays. I go down there on Saturdays, and there's not that many cars down there. There really isn't. And during the week, there's nobody there. But all I'm saying is there is a compromise. I know the homeowners, and I understand where you're coming from. Believe me, we're people. We're not just, stuck in the mud. We're not going to leave. We want to be down there just as much as you. And I understand that you're paying a lot of money to live there. But the thing is, the way your home got built was the people in this room. And the way your homes are taken care of are the people in this room. The landscapers, the people that come to cook in your homes. I mean, we're a community. It doesn't matter that you come here 4, 8 weeks out of the year. You're still part of this town. We have to get along. Now, for the village and the town, the trustees, we have to get together. It can't be one of these meetings where it's just you guys, then it's just the trustees, and then it's just the town. I called Jay Seidemann today. They're in meetings. I called Stan Glinka. I called around and make sure that they came down and try to represent. Because we need help. There's got to be a compromise. There has to be something we can do. We can't just stick our foot in the mud and say, hey, we've been down there since the 50s and we're not leaving. Well, you know what? We got to come to reality. These people have a lot of money and they're not going to stop fighting. They're not. They're not going anywhere. So we have to think about this very, very, a lot. We have to think about opening up North Sea Beach, maybe Mecox, maybe Flying Point, maybe the Hampton Bay side. And let's see what that does. Give us a couple years. Let's see what that does. In a few years, if you still see a problem with the 175 or the 250, then we can talk. But there has to be some type of a compromise. I love this town just as much as anybody else. And I worked my butt off to have my house in Flanders. And I gotta say, and I hear you guys with this, when I cross that bridge and I go over the inlet to Flanders, there's a weight off my shoulders. It seems like there's like a lot of contention, a lot of anger towards the city people. And knowing that the city people provide for our families, it's a difficult thing, There's a fine line we have to walk. We have to accept them because they feed us and they give us money and we're able to live our lives here and we're able to do things that we want to do. So there has to be a compromise. And I just hope that everybody in this room just takes a chill pill, smokes a big fat joint, and just relax, okay? Seriously. It's just the beach. It's just the beach. So if we could just open up a little bit more beach, maybe the bays, maybe the inlets, and just, and maybe that will help them. Maybe that'll ease their mind.
Thanks.
All right, I'm going to go to the...
Hi, everybody. Most of you know me. Linda Goldsmith, Southampton. Born and raised here. I grew up, and I find in my lifetime that I'm talking about what used to be in Southampton. A lot of things used to be. The dunes used to be very high. Mother Nature took care of some of it, building took care of most of it, and erosion. There's always erosion, there's always Mother Nature, and there is always building. It doesn't stop. The issue I have is that we were entitled growing up here to use all of our beaches, and summertime would come and the tourists would come, and we shared everything with these people, as you referred to. One of the lawyers referred to us as these people. Well, I'm one of these people, and I am entitled to use my beaches, just like everyone else. And you people are clearly outnumbered here in this room. So rather than talk about what used to be on a beach that we've been using for many, many years, and we are entitled to, we need to share it. And I grew up with Gary Mack's Way, Gary McNamara, and I grew up with Jimmy Airy's Way, and those are both accesses to our beaches. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ray Cheminsky, born and raised here in Southampton. I live on Skinner Street, the Village. There's an old adage that we probably all heard. If you can't stand the jet noise, you don't build next to an airport. And if you can't stand this situation here, maybe it's time to take and move elsewhere. Because this is a place that I brought my kids. I was widowed in '74 with a child, 2 children, a year and a half and 3.5. And this is where I went with my kids. It was where I wanted to go, is where we kind of got our act together. And these people that are living here, and I can understand why they are here and want to be here, but the thing is, they're stating the fact that they're community-minded people, and they just want to take and blend in. But the thing is, they don't understand, they're taking this away from us. They're not donating to the community. And that's basically all I want to say. Thank you.
Hi, Vinnie McGann, 16 Shore Road, Southampton. Thanks, board, for hearing us. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Turchunian for switching from metal posts to wood posts for your dune preservation efforts. Because I now no longer, I spend a lot of time in the ocean. I now no longer have to go to the emergency ward with rusted metal stakes, having cut my feet, shins, and legs as they're wiped away every winter by normal storm erosion. So the wood's much better, keep it up. And this is to address the couple items that have been mentioned by the homeowners. And Nancy, you'd appreciate this. I steamed out of Shinnecock Inlet, and Phil, you'd relate to this as well. 1980, on Bill Tully's lobster boat, and it was 4th of July weekend, 4th of July, probably 3rd of July evening. And the crew made a number of sort of off-color jokes about the density, this is 1981, of people in the county park and on the beach. And that we were so glad to be leaving to get away from the pressure. So that's 1981. And the second point was, and I'm not clear about the timeline on this as to when those houses were built, but again, as everyone's mentioned, it was a dirt road. I used to get dropped off on that road and walk across the dunes. And Mr. Chminsky just mentioned it. It's a classic real estate ploy to buy land near the airport and then close the airport so that your land goes up. And I think there's a little bit of that going on here. And I'm extremely concerned about that because it erodes finally the Donegan's patent trustee power that was put in place 400 years ago, and it's slowly eroding that, and it will soon be gone. So thank you for hearing.
There's a lot of empty seats.
Anyone else would like to speak? Yeah.
Hi, my name's Jake Wilson. I live at 142 Woolley Street. I've only lived full-time in the village for 16 years, so my opinion may be worth less than a lot of other people. It's my understanding that about 100 years ago or more, the village said you couldn't park vehicles on the beach because the horses were crapping all over the place, and no one liked that. So I think that the precedent for not parking on the beach, goes long before everybody bringing their family down and walking their dogs and having barbecues, which I've done at our other beaches without parking on them myself for a very long time now. And I understand everybody's feelings about this. But the bottom line, the point here, is that it's a parking lot. That's what we're just talking about, parking on it. We're not talking about surfing and walking dogs and having barbecues and community and family. We're talking about where are people going to park while they're enjoying the beach. That's what the issue is. And thank you for your time.
Thanks.
My name is Wayne Dupree, born and raised here. And I've been in real estate for over 30 years. Originally, when there were 3 houses built on the dunes there, you couldn't give them away because the people knew that we had access to the beach there, and there was a helicopter court on the other side. So I can't tell you how many people I showed property to, and when they found out that that was the issue there, they didn't want any part of it. The other thing is, I see there's, could I pick up this picture?
Sure.
There's a pickup truck there, and it looks familiar. It's probably one of the volunteers that went to an accident, and he's on his way back. Now, you're going to tell me with this new rule that if he leaves the beach and comes back and the parking places are full, you're going to tell him to go home? That's a disgrace. So that's all I have to say.
I would like to say the beach, our beach, some people are poor and some people can't even go there. So I want to say that some people should go there even if they're even not even poor or are poor. But some people might even want to go, but they can't even go because some people don't even have enough money. But still, if you can't do anything about it, you should still let people go.
Hi, I'm not a very good public speaker. I get very nervous. Hi, my name is Nadia Pershef. I'm a local. I grew up here. I'm a local physician. What was I going to say? Okay. So it's very important, the beaches for us, what this gentleman said before, Mr. Dupree. I get called out to emergencies. I get to come to the beach. A lot of local physicians, one of the reasons we stay in this community is because there is a beach for us to go to and bring our families to. We take, just like the other people that are service industry, we're part of the service industry. We service everybody here. And we have a right, if I get called in the emergency room and I can't get back on the beach with my family, it's ridiculous. So I think that's not fair. I'm working and taking care of patients. I can't get there, and then my family can't go to the beach. It's not right. And what else was I going to say? Okay, I think that's it. But it's just not right. Growing up here, living here, and a lot of physicians are not going to stay in this community because it's really one of the things we all love. Not only the locals, but the physicians are the locals too. And all the people, the firemen, everybody, that's the way of them, you guys giving back to the community that takes care of everybody. Not the carpenters, the firemen, the emergency people. We're all down at the beach. Mayor Epley was next to me last summer. And Road F is like my favorite spot because I'm away from people. I don't have, my patients aren't there pointing at me. I can just stay at the beach and be in a bathing suit and relax. And I don't understand how Road F can be taken away. It's just wrong.
Anyone else? Yeah, Brian.
My name's Brian Butler. I live at 31 Rose Avenue in Southampton. I can appreciate the tough spot you guys are in. One or two things I wanted to mention. The lawyer had spoken, and perhaps legally it's required, about safety issues and all. But you're also, is there any history, any problems, excuse me, that have occurred? Is this an ongoing problem or an ongoing situation? Because we didn't just move there last week or last year. This has been an ongoing situation, and I don't know that there have been any safety issues up until now. Also, the coastal geologist had mentioned how the sand in front of the dunes was 12 feet under the dunes. I go there all the time also. If you drive down the beach, you pass the sign that says this is the limits. You start going that way, the beach doesn't rise. It's no higher. The beach is the same as it is right there, half mile down the beach or wherever you would like to go. Other thing, Jeremy, you're a nice guy, and I don't mean to fight internally, but
Just direct your comments to us.
Okay. It would be impossible for you to move us from one spot to the other. We're in the only spot where we were there first. And of course, if you were to move us somewhere else, we all recognize, I mean, we'd love to do that. We would love more space and all. But if we're being sued, or you're being sued, to kick us off the place that we've historically been, then what's going to happen if you go and stick us in front of some other people? Of course you're going to get sued. It's going to be worse, and their lawsuit is going to have even more validity. So that just, that just can't happen.
Thanks,
Thank you.
I'll be quick. Fred Adamczewski. To mention the geologist, Mr. Todd Johnson gained 2 feet at dunes after Hurricane Sandy, so there's no, I don't think, impact by our trucks driving on the beach when he gained 2 feet of sand after the hurricane. Actually built the dune up after Hurricane Sandy because he said he couldn't see us anymore because the dune got so high he couldn't see our trucks on the beach anymore. So
Okay. Thanks.
I don't think we're wearing anything away.
Okay. Anyone else from the public would like to make comment?
I have a question. Does this regard Saturdays as well? Do you count on Saturdays?
Chances are pretty good we don't need to do a count on Saturday. So, yeah, it's a code change that would apply 7 days a week, and then we have to evaluate from an enforcement standpoint what the appropriate technique would be. So that would be meet with the police department on that. So, Jim, want to? Actually, just come on up here so we can record this.
Okay, once the number of 175 is reached, would there be any exceptions, such as a homeowner transiting to their private property?
Not in a, well, I mean, I mean, the code would be the 175. That's what we'd have to stick with. Obviously, exceptions, and we'd have to talk about that because it's a couple interesting pieces that were brought up from emergency responders who leave the beach and they want to come back. And how you would manage that, physicians that go to the emergency room. There's a lot of questions there on controlling access. So that's part of the public hearing process to bring up and put us in a position where if we have to discuss things. So,
It'd just be an interesting loophole for the homeowners to bring in their caterers or employees or surf instructors or whatever after the number is reached, claiming that they're using their private property. Just something to think about.
Okay. Thanks. Anyone else from the public? Yeah.
Can I want to say one more thing?
Actually, Chid. Come on. Come on, Chid.
Hi, my name is Ginny Poveromo. I have a question about when the geologist was speaking and about water erosion and the beaches. Why, or if you walk down any beach here, you see the retaining walls, the bulkheads, that's doing more damage than the trucks. And that hasn't been addressed. They keep building and putting in these walls. By the time your inspectors come, they're buried. And you just watch it. You watch when they're bulldozing, the walls go in, and the sand comes back, covers it.
All bulkheads are put in via permit, and they go through the DEC review process. Most of the bulkheads that have been put in are all replacement bulkheads that were installed in the 1930s, the 1950s. And because of certain requirements, sometimes you go down and they look larger than what they were before. So,
but part of that is as it's not allowing natural erosion. It's stopping it, pushing it to the properties going down. They're doing as much or more damage
between Halsey Neck and Old Town. It's about 98% bulkhead And a lot of those bulkheads were installed in the 1930s and the 1950s. So, all right, thanks, Jenny. Anyone else from the public? Okay.
Sure, quick ones. I know you love this. I have a comment about the geologist or about the beach. The Gary Max Way back in the 70s is basically no different than it is today driving down there. It isn't like it's packed down the stand. It's not like, you know, the beaches and the dunes have been compromised all the way down the whole island. And it's not just from Sandy, it's from, you know, years of northeaster storms or whatever, that erosion takes place. The other thing is the birds. I know my birds. I've lived here my whole life. I know a lot of birds. I've never seen one of these piping plover. Never seen one. You know, I've never seen one of these birds. I hear they taste like chicken, but I don't know. I've never seen one.
All right.
There's one other thing that I was thinking of. You know, nobody in this room that I know of is trying to limit these people with the amount of helicopters that come in there on a Sunday. Every 10 minutes, these helicopters come in down there, and yet they don't want us on the beach. But we have to listen to the helicopters, and that's another issue down there.
Stephanie.
Just one other consideration I mentioned earlier about having access at both ends of it. I think that that's really something that's very important. I think limiting it to just Road G is going to do, that's just not going to work. It's too many. We need access at both ends. Now, I understand you're providing restrooms at the other end, but what happens if people need to leave the beach? And not just emergency personnel, but you want to leave the beach, use the restroom or whatever. Does that mean now I have to do that? Now I can't get back on the beach because my spot's been taken or they've done another clicker? I don't think there's any reason why you can't have police cars at both ends or whoever's going to be monitoring this. You have walkie-talkies anyway and clickers, and they contact each other. I've got 50, you've got 50, and keep going. But I think that limiting the access to one road is a big mistake, and that's one thing that I'm really against with this.
Danny, yeah.
Hey, Rana, just what Stephanie said. What I can see right now, limit to one road. At 9 o'clock, you're going to have a line down the road forever. And we all know that because everybody's going to rush to get down there. And just like when we had the campers down there, they all lined up because we had certain limits. So just keep that in mind. I think it's the people are going to be more upset with us lined up on the beach, on the road. So I think 2 access roads is definitely a plus.
Okay. Thanks, Dan.
Also, I'm Nadia Pershiff again. Sometimes I go down to the beach all the time. Sometimes you can get on the beach on Road F, but you can't get on G just because of the way the waves are, because of the surf. And then what are you going to do then? When you can only get on at F and you can't get on G. There's times when you can't do that. And everybody's experienced that, where there's times when the way the water's going or the way the waves are and the way the tide has come up, you can't even get on Road G, or it's more dangerous, or the hill's too high. You need to get on Road F. And I have a county park sticker, and I can go around, but still, it's going to make access harder for a lot of us, depending on the weather.
Thanks. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not dressed for the occasion. My name is Brian Finnegan from Southampton. Just wondering about the environmental. He's not here. He obviously left during the middle of the meeting. If every state park and county park that is on the beach allows you to drive their cars on, don't you think there would be an environmental study done with them? And they permit it, so I don't see what the big problem is with our vehicles on the beach. So, thanks.
Anyone? Okay.
John Flick, Noyak Road, 815. I just want to know if there's a clarification on if there's going to be access to the beach prior to 9 a.m. or if it's strictly open between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. And also, in regards to the environmentalist, if no cars would be allowed to drive on through these floodwater conduits, would foot traffic not be the same detriment? And then I think it would be what we're all afraid of a case of give an inch and they take a foot, and cutting off access completely.
The code change is limiting the number of cars in this area to 175 between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Now, does that mean cars can't get onto the beach prior to 9 a.m.?
No.
Okay.
There's no change with that.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, there's no change with any of that.
Okay.
What's that? No, it's written in the code between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m., 175 cars. We're not going to restrict it to Sunday or Monday or any day like that, so.
That was my only tip. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Well, this is a public hearing for this. We've got to go through the public hearing process, yes. Well, the gate's been installed because we don't know when the law will be put in place. So we just did that as part of the process. It's not. It's not. It's unlocked. The guy who installed it put a lock on it. The village found out about it. We went and opened it up. He shouldn't have put a lock on it. So, okay.
Between 6 p.m. and 9 a.m., that gate's going to be open all the time.
Yes. Yes.
Hi, Justice Phillips, Little Fresh Pond Road, Southampton. You know, I've noticed that in the village of Sag Harbor, they're talking about using eminent domain to create that John Steinbeck Park. Is there any thought been given to purchasing these properties back using Community Preservation Fund monies? Because that really is the community that we're trying to preserve. I mean, could you purchase her house and turn it into a parking lot? I don't know. Would that be beneficial to the community? I mean, they were, as everybody's been saying, were not houses there forever. And we sold them to put up houses. Why not take them back? How much money did the CPF generate?
Well, let me just tell you, from
Probably
a legal standpoint, if you do eminent domain and you take the property, you cannot use Community Preservation Fund.
Okay. So they have to voluntarily.
So what you have to have in order to do a CPF purchase is you have to have a willing seller.
Okay. I mean, is that something that is allowable under the CPF?
Well, if
and
any
under
one of the
village?
property owners down there decided to sell their home and they approach CPF, it would be something we would discuss. I mean, one of the things that the Community Preservation Fund Committee looks at are properties that are unimproved.
Okay.
Because of try to get a natural state. There's a lot of restrictions when it comes to CPF property and purchase and the use of it and stuff. So.
Right. Well, they've made exceptions for the properties on the beach in Hampton Bays, as well as the former jetties, the former, all those nightclubs in North Sea. So, I don't know. It's a thought.
Which are all areas which you should go and talk to the town trustees and the town board to open up the beach drugging.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Come on up. Yeah.
I would like to say one more thing. You see all these people want the beach. And everything they're trying to do is just tell the people that the beach is for everyone, not for just the rich people or anything.
Anyone else would like to speak?
Ray Normoyle, Flanders. First of all, I just want to say I'm very disappointed that I don't see any trustees here from Southampton Town.
I would say that Bill Pell was here earlier and he left. So
he didn't get up and speak and defend.
Yeah.
Those guys are charged with defending our beaches, okay? These beaches belong to all of the people of Southampton Town and Southampton Village, okay? not the property owners just on the beach. Okay, the Duncan patent was put into place to protect the people from land barons so that we would have access to our beaches, our waterways, forever, not just for a little piece of time, forever, okay? And I'm very disappointed. We should remember, come election time, that none of the trustees are here to talk. Second of all, there's been several mentions of the homeowner's private property. Their private property ends at the toe of the dune.
No, it doesn't. It does not. It's the high water mark.
The high water mark is the toe of the dune.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
The mean high water mark is the toe of the dune. Okay, you can play with semantics, you can move berms, you can do whatever you want, but that is the mean high water mark. So as you can see, all of these vehicles are far below the toe of the dune. As the geologist spoke before about the debris line, that debris line moves up and down the beach all the way to the toe of the dune at times. So that's the mean high tide level. These are our beaches. And if you really want to get serious, I think we compromised a few decades ago to just this portion of the beach for our vehicles. Technically, we should be able to have access to every beach in the town. The bays, the ocean, all of it is accessible to everybody in the town, not just the homeowners that live on the beach. Okay? That's...
Hi there, my name is Phil Matthews at 45 Hampton Road. I was a little distraught to hear that the fence is already up. This may be just a polite exercise to let us voice a lot of it's emotional. I was on the beach when I was a kid. I take my kids to the beach. I'd like him to have the opportunity to take his kids to the beach. That's emotional. This is apparently more than that. The homeowners have been able to muster an organization where they have advocates, attorneys, coastal geologists. I'm going to guess that coastal geologist was paid to do this, and he wasn't paid by you. Picture you have there, I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say that's not a Tuesday. Tuesday, that would be pretty empty. They are trying to convince you of something, whether you're convinced or not, or just conceded it or compromised. They have advocates, attorneys. We hired or elected you folks as our advocates. You're supposed to be on our side. I understand he's trying to say, well, we're supposed to take care of everybody. These people, some of them are good people, and they're usually not here or complaining. Some of them want to say things like, as a matter of fact, I do own the beach. Well, I have heard that, and I just kind of shake my head and walk away because I think I have elected officials that straighten them out. Please, straighten them out.
Anyone else from the public would like to speak? Okay. All right. So come on up, Steph.
It's my understanding that Fred Thiel and Senator Ken LaValle have put forth legislation before the state to come back and try to reinstate the rights of the Donegan patent, if I understand that correctly. So I would like to encourage the village board to wait until that legislation has been approved before you go start putting in new legislation and new policies that may not be effective if that is put forth for the state. And I would like to thank Fred Thiel and Ken LaValle for doing that on our behalf.
Anyone else from the public would like to speak?
I'm Judy Johnson, and I live on Little Plains Road, and I don't have a four-wheel drive, and I don't go to this beach. But I came here tonight because I realize this is a very serious and emotionally charged issue. And you're dealing with a tradition in this community that's developed over a long period of time. So I've come today for Stephanie and for Donnie Shepherd and for Philip and his brother Eben and for my colleagues who are sitting here too, because I taught in the high school, to say that I charge you with a very serious decision here. This is a tradition that has developed, which is binding our community together. We have enough divisiveness in the community. And I would also like to say that years ago, when my parents lived in Pearl Harbor, there was an issue about the beaches around the Diamond Head. And the ruling way back then was that God put the beaches there and they belong to everyone. So please be mindful of that. And thank you for all your efforts.
Anyone else would like to speak? Okay. All right, so we're going to keep this public hearing open. First of all, I'd like to say that I greatly appreciate the comments on both sides. I mean, there are a lot of really good people involved. The plaintiffs, the homeowners that are down there are good people. And the people that go to the beach, I'm down there with you guys, and the golf club and everything together with everybody. And, so but there are 2 lawsuits here, and these are serious issues that we have to look at, and we're trying to develop compromise. We're trying to mitigate issues, and we're trying our best to do that. And I hope that you understand that, and that. But I greatly appreciate the comments. There was a lot of good stuff that was brought out today, talking about volunteers and emergency room physicians and how people get back and forth. And so there are some questions. Saba had sent us some questions. We're going to try to respond to some of those questions so that you'll have those answers in the next couple of days. Our lawyer will do that. Josh, did you want to say anything? No. Josh is representing the village in this matter. And so we actually do have 2 letters that came here. One from Michael Targoff, who actually purchased the property. It was Teddy Forsman's at 1900 Meadow Lane. And it's a multiple-page letter. Basically, he writes that he acquired his home from the estate of Teddy Forsman, and that Teddy Forsman intended that vehicle parking be prescribed to be west of Road F. And so he writes a letter in opposition to the expansion of the area. And then we have a letter that came today from the Eastern Region Helicopter Council, who expressed concern in reference to all vehicle traffic in that area from 0900 to 1800. So those are 2 of the letters. But that being said, people can send comments to the mayor's office at southamptonvillage.org. If you want to get something into the record, we'll keep the public hearing open. We have the environmental impact study that's underway. This is not about trying to eliminate everybody off the beach. So it's about trying to develop compromise is what it is. And that's what we're trying to do. And so anybody from the board wanted to make a comment? Okay. All right, Julie? Okay. Okay, so we're going to keep this public hearing open, and we're going to continue with other parts of the board meeting. So if you guys want to stick around and watch, great. You guys want to take a break? Okay, all right.
Where'd everybody go?
I know. Something I said?
Ready?
All right, so let's go to suggested resolutions here. Resolve at the reading of the minutes. What the?
Do you want me to
Oh, sorry.
go to the resolutions? Or?
No, wait. So So we need to, we have a second public hearing. Amending, sorry.
Yeah, they have the chapter.
Yeah. Thanks, Nancy. Maybe, so I'd like to make a motion to open the local public hearing on amending Chapter 86 with respect to permit parking.
Second.
Second. All discussion? All those in favor? Aye. I think that, Rick, if you want to just do a quick summary for the record.
As you know, right now, the permit requirement for parking in the heliport parking area is what we refer to as the Cooper's Beach permit. This would amend the existing law so that you could park in the heliport parking area either with the Cooper's Beach permit or with a permit under Chapter 80 for driving on the ocean beach.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything was said in the previous public hearing here. Does anyone here want to make comment around this?
I want a clarification on that.
Yeah.
The clarification means that if you purchase as a non-resident a Cooper's Beach sticker, that you now can park at the heliport with that sticker and do not need any additional.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Which you always could. You purchase
Oh, I
that.
thought this was, no.
Now, this is only making a change that says that if you purchase a Cooper's Beach sticker, that Cooper's Beach, whether it's resident, non-resident, whatever, you could park in all the road ends. Okay?
Oh, okay. The resident
And which
only is
includes the helipad.
Right.
But you
Except
always
for
could do
Dune.
that, except for Dune Beach is even.
Dune Beach is the only
So the only
resident.
thing this is doing is adding the opportunity for a 4x4 pass sticker to pass for people to have
Okay,
parking
I
in
get it.
that lot.
Okay.
And that's all it is.
All right,
So it's a component of the first local law, something that Michael had suggested that we do, which was a good suggestion. So let's leave this open.
Just like the other one.
Right.
You could probably close the public hearing because nobody's here on this one.
I think I want
Yeah.
to leave it open
Okay.
because nobody was really around to make comment around this, so, okay, we'll leave this
We
open.
should make that one and the other one.
Yeah. Okay. So we're keeping that public hearing open, so we had the two communications to the board. In reference to this, the suggested resolutions resolved that the reading of the minutes for the work session of April 26, 2016 be dispensed with, and those minutes be accepted as filed by the village administrator, and that the actions taken at the meeting be and hereby are ratified and approved. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second on that?
Second.
Do you want me to read these more?
No. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, resolved that the claims to the warrants dated May 12, 2016 totaling $278,564.91. Warrant number 14, General Fund, $3,200. Warrants 12, Trust Fund, and $101,949.84. Warrant 12, Capital Reserve Fund, and the village payrolls for the period date ending April 28, 2016 be audited and approved. Need a motion?
I'll make that motion.
A second? Second discussion. Eileen, you want to go through
Yep.
the items there? Thanks.
Read off the general fund first?
Yep.
Okay. Bartlett Tree Experts, $1,818. That's for pruning vine removal on Dale Street. Cask Productions, $2,321.65. Videography for April 2016. Chaliff and Rogers, $4,290. That's for architectural survey, brick wall, 25 Jobs Lane. Edward Corrigan, $1,000, medical reimbursement. Richard DePetris, Esquire, $5,000, and Richard DePetris, $3,800. Professional services outside scope of annual salary, November through December and April through May 3rd, 2016. Finance manager, $2,049.25. Preparation of W-2s and 1099s for 2015.
Fundamental Business Services, $1,030.50. Parking Fine Commission. GenServe Inc., $1,125. It's a maintenance generator at the PD, Police Department. Henry Restoration Limited, $3,433. Deposit of Agawam limestone repair. Herrick Hardware, total $1,526.37. Miscellaneous supplies for multiple departments. Liberty Ironworks, $1,100. No. Long Island East Printing, $1,303. Buildings Inspector Supplies, permit posters, ARB posters, ZBA posters. Lynch's Garden Center, $4,044.31. Miscellaneous supplies for the Parks Department. Messiano Consulting, Inc., $2,175. Grant writer, April 2016 services. Morgan Auto, $2,714.99. Miscellaneous supplies, Central Garage. Office of State Comptroller, $12,592.75. Clearing Justice Court fines. James Phillips, $1,000. Fire medical reimbursement. Pine Barrens Printing, $2,262.61. Cooper's daily parking passes. Power Equipment Plus 2, $1,008.14. Parks Miscellaneous Parts and Supplies. PSEG Long Island Collection Services, $4,067.16. Electric for the Police Department. Robinson and Robinson Esquires, $20,142. ARB Services, June through August 2015. Rosemar Construction, Inc., $26,967. That's drainage on Jagger Lane. RS Sales, $1,393.24. Paper products for the Parks Department. Sprague Operating Res LLC, $4,725. It's gasoline. Suffolk County National Bank, $127,020. WW1 Memorial and Village Hall bond payment. Thomas J. Gouldy Electric, $1,926. Emergency generator repair, Hampton Road Firehouse. Town of Southampton, $1,064. Construction debris and brush disposal. Vector Airport Systems, $4,994. 2016 annual system warranty and maintenance. Vehicle Tracking Solutions, $1,055.56. Tracking services, 44 village vehicles. Whitmere Associates, Inc., $2,245.86. Custom shields for the fire department, various houses. The trust account, Suffolk Cement Products, $3,200. It's 80 pieces of concrete curb stops for heliport. Capital Reserve Fund, A's Sheet Metal and Fire Safety, $8,100. Cooper's Concession, Kitchen Hood and Fire System Suppression Upgrade. Buzz Chew Chevrolet Olds, $41,187 for a 2016 Silverado Fire Marshal vehicle. Hampton Copy, Inc., $1,611.44. Plans and bid packages provided to contractors for the new ambulance building. Hampton Copy, Inc., all for the same, $1,231.38. $2,820.02, also for the same. Pazza Contracting Corp., $28,500. That's for the exterior wall restoration, 25 Jobs Lane. SCC Construction Management Group, $18,500 for professional services provided regarding the ambulance building. And that's it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the hiring of Nicholas White as a grasshopper for the Parks Department, an hourly rate of $10.
I make that motion.
Second? Second. Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the hiring of Jack Moran as a grasshopper for the 2016 season at an hourly rate of $12 an hour.
I make that motion.
We have a second? Second. Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Go to discussion items here. We have surf school, which is we put a request for proposals, and the only one that responded was Flying Point Surf School. It's to operate a surf camp. It would be Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 to noon time, limited to 25 students, and the location to be determined at a further date. So we put a bid in for $2,500, and he meets all the requirements of the RFP with insurance and Suffolk County Department of Health and CPR and the ocean lifeguards. So I'd like to make a motion to approve Flying Point Surf School to operate a surf camp in accordance with the request for proposals. I'll make that motion. Any second for that?
Second.
Discussion. And this is for Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. till noon time.
Where were you going to limit it?
Really, we kind of go and look at, last year they were at Halsey Neck.
Right.
And, because they initially tried to start at Kreider, but it was just too many people that were there. So we moved them to Halsey Neck. I think it's a matter of where the sandbar is and you know, the volume of people that are around and for the experience for the kids and stuff. So if you've got ideas, I'm wide open to that.
Gotcha.
So,
It's just last year we had an issue with the
Right.
parking and stuff.
Yeah, with
It'd
the-
be nice to avoid that.
oh, it would be. Yeah, a lot of that stuff was down in Kreider. We had
Yeah.
too many people down at Kreider Beach at one shot. So,
Yep.
any further comments? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We have a discussion item is the Hinckley Company grand opening of business yachts. I think we have Mr. Hinckley here.
Dave Malley.
Oh, okay.
Died about 100 years.
Oh, well, sorry to hear that. Hey, Dave, tell us about your what you'd like to do.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the late and rushed submission. This just happened today. So Hinckley Yachts is the oldest yacht manufacturer in America. We've signed a lease at 1 Hill Street. We're very excited about that. One of only 5 locations in the country. We're having a grand opening the weekend of June 4th. We will not have boats in the office. It's just a sales office, but we have a demo boat that we would like to park outside our office for that weekend. Since I submitted this around 3:30 today, there's been a change, and the footprint that we would require to do this with the town's approval has shrunk, so now it's just 34 feet. It was 48 feet.
Okay.
Where's it going?
Wherever, well, either on Windmill Lane or on Hill Street, at that corner there, right outside our office.
Wow.
So Dave came in today to Village Hall, I guess to get a in line of like a dumpster permit, but to request a permit to park the boat on Hill Street or Windmill. And I felt that was too big of a decision for it to come out of Village Hall, and I said he should come to the meeting and speak to the mayor and the board and present it. And I had Angel Perez, ordinance, police department, came right over, and he also spoke to Dave about some of the potential problems with it, and some of the reasons that you should just come and speak to the board for it. That's it.
And thank you for the opportunity. I'll say this, having seen the dumpster that's there, our yacht is a lot prettier.
It's a lot bigger?
A lot prettier.
Oh, yeah.
And smaller.
Yeah.
It's about $750,000 worth of boat. And just for 2 days.
So from an insurance standpoint, you're going to put the $750,000 boat and take up, at a minimum, probably 4 or 5 parking spots there.
Right.
And so, from an insurance standpoint, how is the village held harmless to anything that might occur to that $750,000 boat?
We're assuming all risk with the boat, and we can provide a statement to that effect.
And is it for that weekend, just for that weekend?
It would be from Friday afternoon through sometime on Sunday. Then we put it back in the water, and it goes on to the next office location in Newport.
Are you
Mike's
decorating
dying
it
over
in
here.
some
He's got
way
a
that
thousand.
people
No, I should really
recognize that
abstain
it's
because-
for the event?
No,
I mean, I just...
They'll probably, we haven't thought of that, but our normal MO is to have a Hinckley flag on it. Maybe some bunting, but that's it.
And will it be set up in such a way that people will be able to go on it?
Yes, there'll be steps so they can actually go on it. The boat will only be, it's like a runabout. Well, you see the pictures. The boat's only about,
Is it the first picture? Or
yes, the first picture.
Okay.
You actually can ignore the second picture now because the boat's not going to be on a trailer. That's why the footprint has shrunk to just 34 feet. It's going to be on a cradle. It'll actually be lower, it'll be about this high off the highest point of the boat will be about this high off the ground.
So how are you going to get it off the trailer onto the cradle?
With some, they tell me with some super duper hydraulic trailer that lifts it up and puts it on the cradle.
And this boat is left, you're not pulling it away, you're leaving it for the entire 3 days, overnight and everything?
Correct.
So again, as the mayor mentioned, theft, vandalism, do you have anybody watching this boat?
Well, the company hasn't told me, but I assume they want me to sleep on the, well, at least sleep in the office and keep an eye on it.
I know I need to digest this here a little bit. I'm sure the entire board does, because it was a last minute
Yes, and I do
request
appreciate this.
that is really kind of
It's a unique one.
different, yeah. So,
But it is just for a grand opening, so I don't know
Right.
what we've done.
yeah.
I am saying that
big
I'm
boat.
excited that you're coming, though. I think you're a good addition to our community.
Thank you. We're very excited to be here.
I really do feel
Yeah,
that way.
definitely, some in that corner.
The company was, the owner of the company lives in Southampton, and he's of Hinckley, and he's very excited about this.
Good. You guys have any other comments? I mean, personally, I'd like to go look at it. And what's the width of the boat?
11 feet.
11 feet
Yeah.
wide?
I measured the width of the dumpster that's out there today, and it's 12 feet, so it's narrower.
Yeah.
So you're saying we can pretty much envision what the dumpster space, is that where you want to put it, where the dumpster currently is?
Yes. Now, that dumpster is 23 feet long, so this boat will be 11 feet longer than the dumpster.
And how are they going to board it? From the transom or?
I'm not sure. They're going to be delivering like a little staircase, steps to go up. I'm not sure if it'll be on the side or aft.
Because that takes up a lot more room if you're going aft.
I would imagine it would be on the side, given the layout of this particular boat. I think it would be safer to put it on the side.
And if it's side, it would have to be on the sidewalk side, obviously.
On the sidewalk side, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so, yeah, so we really need to go and look at the site and talk about this and speak to a few people. So I don't feel comfortable giving you a response tonight. I don't know how the board feels. Bill?
If you want to go and do it for us, you have my okay. No, I just, instead of dragging it out.
No, I appreciate that.
If you think it's okay, then I'm willing to let you make the judgment.
Would you be open to using some village green space near that area to keep it off the street?
Yes, of course. That'd be great.
It'd be a better location, yeah.
You mean the green across the street by the pond?
Like
Oh, right here.
Yeah, sorry. Actually, Gary, come on up and explain. Sorry.
Like Agawam Park, maybe?
Well, I don't want to turn.
Well, we have the green space on Windmill Lane across from the library. It is a very visible spot. We also have 25 Jobs. You know, you could use that spot somewhat. Other green areas would be the backside of 25 Jobs.
Yeah.
You could also do something a little further down in front of the Southampton Inn where there's, it's not really off-street parking there, but there's some spaces around that. You know, normal parking stall being 8 by 20, if this is 11, it might be a little better if we could put it on a green spot, but try to get it as close to your store as possible. Windmill Park might be the best one now.
I don't know if, because that was purchased with Community Preservation Fund money, and I think this is a commercial activity. In theory, although it's a boat, but the reality is that it's trying to sell the boat. So, so I think they might find ourselves in a.
Maybe you even could approach the bank property across the street.
Okay, well, let's go look at it. Let's go look at it and then provide you feedback, and Eileen will be in touch with you and stuff here. So you had June 4th, so in the next couple of days we'll give you some feedback on this process stuff, the project. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
I'm going home, and you all should too now.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you. Okay. We have a beach party, August 6th permit for 200 people at Jen Lane Beach.
It's Jen Lane Beach.
I think they mean Main Beach, and right next to the bathing court.
Agawam?
No.
Do we know what Gin Lane Beach? Gin Lane Beach is,
Yeah.
yeah, it's right next to the bathing
Yeah.
corp, the other side.
That's Main
And the other side of the bathing corp is Kreider. So this is the opposite side. That's 200 people.
At Agawam.
Music system, radio? Yeah, right.
You know,
What is it?
do we know if if these, from a scheduling standpoint, how many other parties are scheduled at?
I could check with Mimi tomorrow. She's got, I think,
She has.
I know that there's a party August 6th down on Dune Beach,
Right.
which is further down, but I know she's been staggering them.
Right.
And right now, at this early point, I think there's a couple of others, but they're alternating,
Right.
and they're not this many. I mean, I think they're
Yeah.
not even exceeding 50.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a park.
But there is a party down on Dune Beach the same
Permit
night.
beach.
Do we normally do ones this large at Kreider?
Normally, we don't. Because normally these larger parties we do down at Dune Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I just don't know if there's enough room down there.
Yeah, it's kind of tight.
It is tight.
You know, and Dune Beach was booked, I remember that, just
Yeah.
because it was booked in Village Hall back in March. They came in to book it.
There's
So
not enough
maybe we
room
could,
because
you know,
the depth of the beach, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Lost
a
a
very
lot of-
narrow area
yeah.
too, between the bathing corp and then also,
So where's all the cars going?
just parking, I don't, you know,
Is that-
they'd have to
is there
do.
parking arrangement?
Yeah, I mean, the parking actually is
It wouldn't be
good
bad because they'd come
yeah,
around.
they all park in the lot there.
And after
Cross.
6 o'clock, they can park there.
Comments, Mike?
I think that's a really small beach to
Yeah, I do too.
have 200 people on. You got private residents on both sides.
Yeah, there's no real separation, no
No.
good dune system to, reflect the noise, and
No.
the houses are right on top of that
Yeah.
beach,
Well,
so.
that's the problem, the houses
That
are
is-
right on top
yeah.
of it. But I think if you run along that entire beach, I don't see any.
There's
money.
not good spots anywhere in there. It's not great large beach area and stuff, so that's why these larger parties are better off down at Dune
Down at
Beach. or
Dune,
here.
so I think they should pick another
Yeah,
day
I do too.
for
Or
Dune
Fowler's.
Beach. But I do know
Yeah,
that there is a
or
party
Fowler's Beach,
scheduled.
Yeah.
You know, there is one scheduled August 6th. A family that owns property on Corrigan is having a party on the 6th down at Dune. So,
Okay,
maybe they can just pick another date
yeah.
and do it at Dune Beach.
Yeah, let's do that. I think it's
Yeah.
just, it's too tight. We had- Last year, we had a party that was there that was just way too many people and too tight of an area. So.
And these people are residents, they're on Hunting Street, so
Yep.
they meet the
Right.
criteria.
Yep. No, I'd like to try to do something for them,
Okay.
Right.
but
You could see why they
maybe,
would want it there, it's
yeah,
convenient
now it's
to where
easy to
they
get to
live,
and
yeah.
stuff, so. Maybe we could look at, I don't know.
I'll have Mimi contact them tomorrow
Yeah.
and.
What about,
have them look at the
what
calendar.
about Old Town? See if there's maybe there might be, I'm not sure how the beach is there.
What are the different locations we keep using our
Old
rotations?
Town,
Dune
Little
Beach?
Plains.
Well, they're using all,
We use all,
really.
okay,
Yeah,
so they're all
just
used.
depends on the size of the party.
them.
Yeah.
So we don't, I think we, like you said, we tried one large here, and I think we got some issues with
Yeah.
it, right? So
Well,
that's.
Fowler's Beach is the only beach you
Right.
aren't going to have a residence next to.
Yeah, which is a good.
For the big
place.
radio.
Yeah, for the big radio, exactly. So, let's see about Fowler's. Yeah.
Fowler's?
Car radio.
Yeah.
Even, and what about parking at Fowler's?
Parking at Fowler's.
There's parking.
There's parking
Go
there.
all along
There's
the
parking.
road, one side of the road.
Well,
Yeah.
there's, from my memory, I think there's like 30 spaces at Fowler's.
Yeah.
And you've
Yes.
got a 200 people party, so you always cut it in half when I do parking letters, and you're talking about 100 cars.
Yeah.
But don't people park all along the side of the road at
Well,
Fowler's?
They have to get permission.
Yeah, so they should get they're gonna have probably a valet or something that,
Yeah, and sometimes with some of these larger parties, if it's, you know, they can do shuttling to a larger lot.
and Halsey Neck actually is a better beach too. Is there a party at Halsey Neck?
I don't think so. That was what I was thinking. And
Yeah.
then for parking, they can
Yeah.
shuttle from Cooper's.
Right,
They don't, the party wouldn't be at Cooper's, but they can shuttle, which they do
right.
parties all summer long. People on Meadow Lane shuttle.
So, okay.
So
All right, so
do you want
let's,
to
let's look at,
look at Halsey Neck?
let's look at Halsey Neck and
Okay.
then Fowler's and see
Okay.
how many, because if there's a party on Friday night and Sunday night at Halsey Neck, we don't want to do a Saturday.
right.
So we're, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So you want to look at Halsey Neck and Fowler's?
yeah,
Okay, and then we can put it on the next meeting?
yeah.
Good, okay.
Okay, that's all the discussion items here. Comments from the board members, Trustee Yaz?
Good, other than the fact that I just thank everybody for showing up tonight. Once again, the process at work, a lot of emotions, but there's also a lot of facts we have to weed through on this issue. So I do thank everybody. Of course, there's nobody currently here, but at least watching. I thank everybody for showing up and voicing their opinions tonight.
Trustee Irving?
I'd say the same likewise, but you know, one of the difficulties is that we constantly have greater and greater density in the village. And it's really, I mean, all these issues are density-related issues. You know, at one time, there was only a couple of four-wheel drives, and very few families had them. Now, everybody's got a four-wheel drive. I'm not so sure there's an answer. It's a real tough, difficult thing to try to do. You know,
Yeah.
it's it's no-win situation.
Yeah. Trustee McGann?
Well, I agree with everything Michael said. I couldn't hear what Rich said because his microphone wasn't working, so. And anyway.
He just thanked everybody for showing up, so.
Okay. Anyway.
Including himself.
I agree with it. I think, it's interesting if you go to another area like Nantucket, or people drive on those beaches there during the middle of the day. And you know what? It doesn't seem like there's a lot of people there because all of the beaches are open for them.
Right.
At least the last time I was there. So, I really do think that the town's going to have to do something here. And that's my feeling. I think the town should seriously look at where they can open up their beaches and accommodate their taxpayers, and allow people from all over the town to have some sort of access. They have lots of areas where there's reserve along their beach that has access, that it really wouldn't be bothering anyone. And that's sort of what I'm looking for.
Bill?
Have you gotten any indication from town officials that they are interested in trying to expand the areas that beach buggies could go on?
I'm concerned about political will in town hall.
Actually, can I?
That's I think that I've had conversations with many board members, town trustees, and the town board. There's opportunity right now that they could open up, and if they really wanted to do it, they would be putting a resolution in front and opening beaches. So to me, their actions speak louder than any words, and and there is no political will to get it done. So,
Actually, can I now that Nancy just sparked something that I actually would like to, and he just said something as well, and Bill asked it, and I think that's one part that we've brought up several times in discussions, the mayor and I, and is again, and it was alluded to tonight, and the people brought it up, is pleading for the town to expand, and it reminds me a lot of when I was involved in a little political thing a year ago, last year, and had a lot of conversations from people on the other side of the canal, and I engaged in a lot of conversations, and that's something that I always said I would look into, because it was mentioned tonight, people who are traveling from the other side of the canal, that give them the opportunity, they will definitely jump on it. So, but then that reminds me of a conversation that the mayor and I had with a town official some years ago, and I believe the phrase to he and I, when this topic came up, is, as we love to say it, that was our limb to hang from. So I say that because it mirrors what you just said. I don't know about the political will, but yes, I think part of what was discussed here tonight, I really think what the people need to do, in addition to speaking here with us, and somebody mentioned it, one of the gentlemen at the end said, where was some town representation? Again, not to impugn any of them, but yeah, it does take a little more than us here, and that would really, really release a lot of pressure. Instead of trying to squeeze this many people into this bit of a space, anything, anywhere would alleviate that. So, yeah, hopefully we can continue some conversations with the town to open up some spaces. And again, I implore the people, starting tomorrow, where this is kind of heading with us in the village, reach out to your town representatives as well. Ask them for some help.
anything else, Bill? No? Okay.
I'm still awake.
Yeah, me too.
Right away.
Yeah.
We do get overtime, which is.
We do. 32 cents an hour, so. I think we've said everything tonight, so I'm going to make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing personal matters.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay. Next.